morning. Thank you for joining the September 18th VOLTA call. We do record these, so keep that in mind during discussions and presentations. And with that, I think we will start today's meeting. So this is our last week on Sprint 7 for VOLTA 2.0. We're targeting to complete by this Friday, so this is our last scheduled meeting where we'll be going over status update. We do have a number of new JIRA issues I wanted to go over before we start that, and then a couple announcements to make so I don't forget to make those announcements at the end. So we did have some discussion on the Monday engineering stand-up meeting and decided to suspend those meetings. I did not see any objections to that on VOLTA Discussed after I posted that comment there. So when we get to the hardening sprint for 2.0, then I think that's a good time for us to discuss if we need to start up those meetings again. But for now, I will look to get those moved off the calendar. Okay, and then one more update. We're still tentatively targeting the discussion of VOL 506 on this Thursday, but I did hear back from Andy. He's still trying to get the resource alignment to have the right folks on the bridge at that time, and it may need to move to next Tuesday. So he's going to confirm with me later. So I have this on as tentative. So my thoughts at this point are if we do not have the discussion on 506, we'll repurpose that meeting to do sprint planning since we need to get that done anyway for Sprint 8. So that's the tentative plan at this point. So I'll keep you posted. Once I have the agenda for Thursday confirmed, then we'll send out the notice. Questions before I move on? Okay, so let's start looking at the new JIRAs. And we've got, is there a comment, question?
I can, when I breathe, you can hear I'm trying to say something. Can you remind us, is extra sprint required for the Go core restructure?
So that, why don't I bring up I have this up here as well. So Sprint 8 was the last one we targeted initially for development sprints. And then we had the discussion that an additional development sprint may be needed for the core work. And we would reassess that as we got closer to Sprint 8. So let me see if Ken, are you on the bridge?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, we need that extra. Yes, we need that extra sprint.
Okay. Okay. So with that, so Sean, thanks for bringing that up. Then we would need to turn Sprint 9 into the development sprint, and that would turn 10 into the integration testing sprint. And some of that work has been done with the old core. Hopefully that can be leveraged. And then we'd have an 11th sprint added as the hardening sprint. And Nick had noted during the previous discussion that some of the hardening work for the OpenOLT adapter had been ongoing as well. So maybe we can shave a little time there for that component. We'll see how that shapes up. So Sean and others, so then maybe we should discuss if this is the time to officially add that additional sprint in and adjust the schedule that we have on the wiki. Thoughts or comments?
Yeah, first of all, I know, I know we definitely need that core. And then with the one sprint push out, are there any concern from the community or other service providers? I know, but I do want to make sure any concern we can bring on the table. So, any question?
Hey, this is Shad here.
Hi, Shad.
Are we saying that sprint, that extra sprint also includes the work for the adapters, the containerized adapters,
no.
or are we just saying the core?
Just the core. And I'm hoping the adapter people, if I remember correctly, the interface was already released in the document, and I would hope the adapter owners has been looking at those interfaces and make sure a smooth transition to the containerized adapter. and that's the reason why you issue those documents, right?
Yes, that's one reason, and also when we're doing the core work, we're also doing the work on the PONSIM adapters, so that the adapter developers will be able to have the PONSIM as an example as well as a document to figure out how to migrate.
Can the PONSIM adapter be released before sooner than the core got complete?
I think we could. There's some part of it definitely could be released, and can
we do that? So
yeah, if bottom line, what it is, it's we have the VOLTHA Go repo, and we're pushing updates to there regularly. So it's even PONSIM is over there. But okay. It's the older code, so we are containerizing, we're updating it all the time. But there would come a time where it would be good enough for most adapter developers to take a look and start the migration.
And the PONSIM adapter is written in Go?
No, I left it in Twisted. Because most of our existing adapters currently are in Twisted.
Great.
So yes. It won't be a major change for them.
So Ken, this is your PONSIM adapter changes are based on the V1 PONSIM V1, the original Python based.
It's based on the Python base. But it's using the interface definition from 2.0.
Right. Sean, I had just a question about if you can share anything from AT&T side about when is AT&T doing the trials? Would it be based on
AT&T? All the activity for AT&T by the end of this year will be based on the 1. release. Okay. So the OpenOT we're using still 1. But in 2019 we want to move everything into the 2.0 and 2.x release. So even though we are approaching the fourth quarter now, so the work of containerization of the OOT adapter has to happen pretty fast.
Right. Okay. So 2018, whatever trials are going to happen in 2018 are still going to be based on the old code.
Yes.
And yeah, and 2019, whatever trials you committed for the new core.
Yes, and we think that's a better approach to with the core, the VOLTHA software core change. If we push using 2.0 by the end of this year, I think that will mess up a lot of the progress on the development portion. So I think to be safe and then also give the community the time, we decide to go with the 1.x release, the OpenOT adapter. But it doesn't mean we will not jump into the containerized adapter as soon as it's become available.
Yeah, I know the work that we're doing here at the Foundry. I don't think we're going to look at the new core or containerizing adapters probably until late this year, early next year. Right. All of our focus is on 1.x, whatever we call X now, in the current core, the current OpenOLT, the current adapters as they are today.
Right. And maybe one thing the Foundry can also comment and with the shot is the current OpenOLT adapter still is not high availability, right? So that the adapter become with high availability support. That's definitely something we will be looking at in the early 2019.
Insofar as VOLTHA Core is highly available, right? So if we start looking at multiple cores with multiple adapters, yes. But in the meantime, the one vCore and then the instances of adapters that exist in that one vCore are as they are today.
Right. Shad, does it answer your question? Shad, maybe I'm in ONF today. We can go over some of the resource issue you have any concern.
Sure, yeah, thanks.
Ken, do you have an additional question you want to address? Or say something feel good.
Don't worry, it's all be good. It will all be good. Be positive.
But I think sorry, Julia, if I waste any time here. But as I said, the PONSIM will stay. Let me rephrase that. The PONSIM V2 is using the new interface, but will be still remain as Python. It's already some of the code already available in the Go branch. So I strongly suggest adapter owners please start looking into those. I would say the PONSIM, and then start planning your change, which means one additional sprint is what it is. But if we can take advantage of that one additional sprint to make the adapter migration smoother or more smooth, I think that's a positive outcome with the one additional additional sprint, and I think that's actually a good thing. Even though we slip the schedule. Anybody has any other additional comment?
Yeah, for Etran. Oh, sorry.
Good. Yes. Chip.
For Etran, we'll probably start on the containerization is probably later, late October, because we have the Broadband World Forum coming up.
Okay.
So, just for resource scheduling wise.
Right. And how about the ONU adapter? Because I think your ONU adapter transformation will probably still be used as a sample example for other adapters. So
yeah, I'll probably do them both at the same time, but I think the ONU will probably be a little bit simpler. It's a much simpler adapter to figure out. So it might be done a little early, but you sort of need both to test them.
Okay. And then, Chip, I will also talk to Etran and your company about the resource. I think I would like to get more help if anything I can do. Okay.
So, Sean, I was also saying the same thing as Chip. We would be free. We would be only free after BBWF. That's late October, to work on the containerization. And if we can find a resource who can start earlier, that'll be great. But we can discuss that later.
Okay. The BBWF has the big milestone. We'll have to make sure everything works. Since it's going to be very exciting.
Might be worth tagging for that, just to kind of throw that out there. Maybe before folks start tearing adapters into pieces, we might be a good time to tag and branch 1.5, 1.6, whatever we want to call it. Just something stable.
Right. And Matt, since you talk it out. So if Foundry side can help out with the tagging, the Jono used to be the one, and Dave Banbridge and Kempt used to be the one who doing that. So I'm volunteering in the Foundry also help out as one of the module owner for tagging the releases. If I need to, I hope that's okay.
The permission.
Yeah, there's a permissions thing there. I mean, we can certainly look into it and see what it would take, but I think
Probably doesn't take much.
No, it's probably just more of a permissions thing. But yeah,
Okay.
we'll sort it.
Great. And now I will make sure we have the permission for doing that. Dave Bainbridge, is that true? Just the permission?
Yeah, I think they will need permissions into the repo to create the tags.
Okay. Well, I feel I'm very productive today. Sorry. I must be drinking too much coffee. Okay, Julie, back to you.
Okay. So, I think this is good discussion because we didn't need to have it either, on the planning discussion that we would have either Thursday or next Tuesday, depending on what happens with the VOL 506 discussion. So any other comments on this topic before do you have something else, Sean?
You can hear, yes, you can hear me breathe. One question another thing I will find out is with the 1.5 tagging versus the release of the CBA September, potentially we'll coordinate those two together. Shad, maybe we can work out that detail today at ONF also.
Okay. And let me just note that you're.
Thank you for your note. I have no memory of capability these days.
Okay, so let me go back here and just circle back to make sure that what I have here captures the agreement, that everyone is okay, at least on this call, with going ahead to update the schedule that we have published on the wiki, and then any related info there. And then the planning slides, I have the draft up here. This actually, I had my local copy open, not the one that is shared on the Google Drive. So I'll update the official one as well with the new roadmap and with an additional sprint added in and so forth. So I'll get those updates done. Any objections? All right, I think we can move on then. So let me go back here and we'll go back to the new JIRAs starting with 12.16 and we'll see how we can do on review for these today. So first one, 12.16, OpenOLT, BAL driver bug for downstream flows using the same VLAN. And this one was opened by Nick. Any comments? Let's see, we do have something on the environment. Comments or questions, details?
That's the one tracking the problem with Broadcom. We discussed last time how to track it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
okay. So this is a tracking one for the BAL issue.
Correct.
Okay.
I think I put in the description, but I didn't see it now. Yeah.
See, I didn't see that in the description.
Maybe I.
Yeah, the description field is empty.
That's the problem. I put in environment.
Put it in the wrong.
Okay. Got it. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Let me just copy that over.
Just supposed to be. I'll fix that after.
Okay. That was, I didn't look into the environment field, so I see it now, and there we have the CSP for that. So thank you for that. We can move on to the next item then, 12.17. And this one was a subtask added in on VOLTHA Core Implement Event Bus Client. And a description here of the work. Any comments or questions for Stefan? Okay, then let's move on to 12.18, another defect that was opened. This one is OpenOLT, error message on update flows. This work has been, it looks like it's been merged in already, and that was done by Nick. Any questions from the group on this work? All right, we'll move on to the next item. This is VOL 12.19. And Sean, I had a question for you because I know we have a number of new issues in here related to flow processing and some tech profile work. Do you want to cover them all in one batch or just as we get to them numerically? Any preference?
Well, I'll probably just follow the numerical thing. I created a new epic for the OpenOLT work as requested by Shad, but there are still some stories that are kind of outside that epic. So it's just best to hit them as they come up, I guess.
Okay, and actually that brings up a question for me. I noted this one, is this supposed to be an epic here? It has
this is a story. Yeah, it's a story. So yeah, so I just had a default value for the story points. I mean, so Girish should evaluate and update
Got
that.
it. I figured it might have been just a default until it was estimated if I wasn't sure. Okay, I'm fine then. Thanks.
Yeah, it just
All
needs
right.
an update.
No problem. Any discussion we need to have with the group on this item? So we've got a detailed description in here. Yes.
SJ, this is Girish speaking. So I sent a proposal to the community. I mean, if there is time, I could just briefly run through the flow sequence diagrams that I have in there. Just let me know.
Sure. Were you wanting to do that now?
I mean, if there is time, I could spend some 5 to 10 minutes to just run through the sequence diagrams. I'll not be there on Thursday, so if possible, I can do it today.
Okay. So let me ask the group, would you like to go over and do that walkthrough of those sequence diagrams at this time? Any preference?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Better ask it in a negative way.
Girish, do you want me to give you presentation rights, or do you want me?
I could do it at the end of you running through all these stories and defects. Not right now.
Okay. Okay. So remind me so I don't forget. When we get to that point, we can circle back. So thank you for that, Girish. And we'll move on to 1220 OpenOLT LLDP trap flow. And this one was opened by Shad. And it looks like there are items in Garrett up for review on this.
Yes, I have to rework those things. And so this is still in progress.
All right, thank you. And we'll move on to the next item, 1221. And this is a new story. OpenOLT adapter and driver will use tech profile instance to create OLT upstream downstream queuing and scheduling constructs for bidirectional flow. Any questions from the group? We do have the detailed description in here. Okay, actually, I do have a question probably for Girish and maybe for Sean. Do we know what sprint, are we targeting these for sprint 8? For these new stories, or is it still TBD on the sequencing of the work, since we're kind of adding an additional development sprint as well?
I'm starting on this right away, but I don't think I'll complete in this sprint, but it'll spill out the next sprint.
Okay, so let me go ahead and add this to sprint 8.
Yeah, you just probably add all of them to sprint 8.
Yeah,
and then
okay. All right, so if I can do that after the call to save some time. So all of the new tech profile ones I'll put in sprint 8. Okay, and this one I think was just closed as a duplicate. Yes, so this one already had a related story, so that one we can skip over. 1223, OpenOLT flow delete processing.
That needs a little more detail. I'm still working on that one.
Okay, no problem. And I see we've got a placeholder value for story points as well. So we'll get that updated when you have time. And then I'll move on to 1224. ONU adapter must support deletion of a service flow using OpenOMCI MEs.
That's in the same category as the last one.
Okay. All right. So we at least have the stories with placeholders, which is good. And we have that planning underway. So thank you for those, Sean and Girish as well. 1225, flow creation on ONU Discovery for authentication using subscriber record info, including tech profile and meters.
Oh, that was a duplicate as well.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I see it now.
So yeah. So I got carried away with the stories. But, so I forwarded the original one to Gamza just to see if she would be able to take that one up. So I'll just wait for her response, I guess.
Great, thank you.
Let's see. I'll have to look at what the original one is. But,
I think you have it referenced 1093.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that one.
Okay. All right, next we have a new task, OpenOLT, remove reference to old Broadcom adapter. This one's being worked by Nick and is in progress. And it looks like it's up for review in Garrett. Questions from the group? Then 1227, OpenOLT, cleanup, OpenOLT flow manager, constants, and exception handling. And this one's in progress as well from Nick and has a review out in Garrett as well. Any questions? Okay, then we'll go on to 1228, bump ONOS to 1.13.3. So Shad, I had a question. This one shows as merged. Is there anything else, or should we move this one to done?
Jody's done.
Okay, let me do that. Thank you. And then 1229, bump ONOS app versions for Docker Compose. And that, oh, it looks like that's merged as well. Move it to done?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Got it. Thank you. Let me refresh to see if anything else came in. Okay, it looks like that's it for the new issues today. Why don't we go ahead and take that time now? Girish, is this a good time to go over the flow sequences, the sequence diagrams?
Sure, I was on mute.
Okay, and are you okay with me giving a presentation rights?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, and you should have them momentarily here.
It will be very brief. I have just one sequence diagram to show. Let me. I have already shared that with the community, and I have got some comments from Matt. Let me zoom in. Can everyone see the sequence diagram?
Yes.
If you can close the side panel, yeah. Great.
Okay. So there, the OLT, we received the ONU discovery indication from the OLT at the OpenOLT device module. And then we add the ONU device, and then a sequence of steps happen. So that there is an adopt device to the Broadcom OpenOMCI ONU module, and which triggers an activate towards the Broadcom OpenOMCI ONU handler. That is when the PON port instance is created, and we also add the device towards the OpenOMCI module. And after that, the ONU is activate. We send a command towards the OLT driver to activate the ONU. And once the ONU is successfully activated, normally, in the earlier case with our tech profile, we were creating the gem ports and TCONs at this point, right after the ONU was activated, and we were creating by default a single TCON and a single gem port on that TCON. But right now, since we want to use the tech profiles, we would wait until the OpenFlow message is received in order to derive the table ID and then correspondingly decode the tech profiles that are available on the KV store. So right now, the only indication that we sent towards the Broadcom OpenOMCI adapter is the create interface. So that would trigger a MIB upload event from the ONU. So once the MIB sync is completed, we add the UniPort to the VOLTHA core, which again gets communicated to the ONO's controller. So right when we do that, we also create a tech profile instance placeholder on the KV store, so that the OLT adapter could later, update that placeholder with the right tech profile instance that it has decoded. Maybe I'm going too fast.
Can you go over that again? Who's putting that tech profile placeholder?
So as soon as the ONU adapter creates the UniPort, it creates a placeholder on the KV store with respect to that UniPort name.
Okay. It's essentially interpreting the tech profile template into an instance and saving that away. All right.
So there is a tech profile, and there are instances of that tech profile. So it creates a placeholder for the tech profile instance, so that the ONU adapter would later update, the tech profile instance placeholder with the actual tech profile that it has.
Well, I think don't we want to wait for the OLT adapter to create the tech profile instance, because it's using the resource manager to allocate the gem ports and the alloc ID.
This I think is just creating the key so the ONU can watch it.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It's watching.
It just creates the key with empty value, so that the OLT adapter could later update that key with the right values.
Okay. Is there any conflict with both of them, the ONU adapter and the OLT adapter accessing the instance, or that's fine, as with a write, I guess?
I don't think there's a problem. I think my concern here is we just use the KV store as a message bus, but I'm not sure that's a problem.
I didn't hear. You said there's a problem, or there is no problem?
My concern is that we just use the KV store as a message bus. And I'm not sure that's a problem. Because basically you're creating a key, adding a watch to it, and then later that someone else updates that key, which is a change event essentially that you're triggering off of. So you've just passed a message essentially. I'm not sure it's a problem. It's just something I'm thinking about.
Okay.
So if let's say the OLT created the instance, would the ONU be able to get a notification that the instance was created at some point or had been modified?
I mean, the format of the key is fixed, so I mean, it could just watch on that key.
Is there ever a race condition here where the ONU tries to create the key and put a watch on it, and the OLT is creating the key at the same time?
Maybe.
Only one can create the key. I mean, at this point, I thought the ONU adapter creates the key and watches on it.
And if the key already exists, it's just that the key create will fail and a watch will create it. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's. I'm not sure if that's the way we would want to do it, or we want to wait till the OLTs creates the instance and then messages the ONU. I don't know.
Okay, that's another approach that I can consider, but.
Well, I think we were discussing a while back. I think that when the ONU gets the open flow messages, it could then go and check to see if or create the watch or do something based on that trigger.
Yeah, I don't think this is critical at this moment. Something to think about, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is something to think about, but it's not something critical, as you said. So I'll just put some thought to it and just update this document as necessary, and I'll just circulate it back with the community.
It'd be one of those things that if we go with this approach, just watch the performance over time and see if it's putting a drag somewhere else. Is kind of where my thought is right now.
Okay. Sure. Can I go ahead?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thanks. So once the Uniport is created, so you receive the update flows bug or incremental flow update, whichever it is. So the first open flow message that is received will have the table ID. So now you know the tech profiles are created on the KV store through an out-of-band mechanism. So now we use the table ID to receive the tech profile and create the appropriate tech profile instance, and then update back on the KV store with the placeholder that ONU adapter had created. And the ONU also would receive the update flows bulk. So it retrieves. It could either watch on that placeholder, or it should try. Keep on trying to read the placeholder for the right tech profile instance, if it's available. So once the tech profile instance is available, it would download the MIP onto the ONU. And additionally, do the VLAN filtering and tagging operation as mandated by the open flow message. So that's pretty much it. I have some low-level details in further section, which I don't think I'll go through in this session, but this should give the overall picture. So if you think there are some glaring, problems here, you could just let me know, or any comments. That should also be great.
Thanks, Girish. Are there other questions at this time? Okay.
Well, I have shared the document with the community, so you could get back to me hopefully as soon as possible, so that I don't start the work and I receive some major comments.
Understood.
So it's also implied here, just to make sure it's clear, that nothing from the Uniport's EAP or otherwise can happen until after MIB download is done. So
yes.
Some of our assumptions about pushing a default just so EAP can work now has to be done as part of update flows bulk to push out the config for the bridge to be created. And if you choose to do EAP, then it's included in that.
Yes, I think the first flow that we would receive is the EAP flow, right?
So maybe create the bridge, create the EAP flow, and then subsequent flows maybe, oh, is the bridge already created or does it need to be recreated? And then push any updates to extended VLAN or tagging filter or whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks.
Other comments or questions? All right, Girish, I'll go ahead and take presentation rights back.
Thank you.
And thank you for that. And again, as Girish said, it is available for review for the community. And if you could get any comments back to him promptly as he's working on that. Okay, so let me go back to our agenda. Give me a minute to find the right screen. Okay, so can everyone see my screen again? I'm going to assume that's a yes. Then let's go ahead and look at the Sprint 7 updates and see where we are. For status, let me refresh the screen. We've made a few changes. Okay, so okay, so I know that's going on, Ken, for the work you've been doing. I think I'll skip down to 1054. And let me see who we've got on the bridge. So Gilles, I do see you are on here. Any updates for the group on 1054?
I'm still trying to do it, go through the manual steps, and I'm encountering, I posted something on VOLTHA Discuss to do with the console pod that's not coming up. I'm hoping to get some feedback there. But the moment I'm practically near the end of the steps, and then it's just to codify that as we've done for the the Docker Compose. So it might be tight for this week, but it's not gonna overflow too much into the next sprint if it does.
Okay, thanks. And just a pointer, you did mention the comment that you placed on VOLTHA Discuss, so I'll ask the community to see if they can get some responses to you to assist with that.
Yes.
So everyone, please take a look at VOLTHA Discuss. All right, then the next item, 1022, I don't think I see Venkata, let's see, on the bridge today. So
yes, he's taking PTO for 3 weeks. So
okay.
Family, okay. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So that one likely then will be moving over to Sprint 8.
I think that would be safe to say, yeah.
Okay. And then 506, we're still working on getting the discussion for this, either this Thursday or possibly next Tuesday. Likelihood is it will be moving to next week, but Andy's working on that in the background to coordinate schedules. And then let's go then to 733. And this has been open in Garrett, I think, for review. Any comments? Cora, I see if you have anything to ask of the community on this item at this point, or any update.
Hey, Julie, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thanks.
Yeah, I am still waiting for the JIRA being reviewed by the reviewers, and I didn't hear anything from the reviewers last week, so basically the status hasn't changed.
So yeah, so this has been out there for a bit, for a few weeks for this latest patch update. So if we could get folks taking a look at this in Garrett so that we can get this merged in, hopefully in this sprint. So I'll ask folks on the call, is there anyone that needs to be added to the reviewer list here, or anyone do we need to modify anything there to get this reviewed and through the process? Okay, I'm not hearing. Oh, go ahead, Sean.
Oh, no, sorry, just inadvertent noise.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so I will ask for assistance from the community on getting this reviewed, because it has been out there for a fair bit, waiting for feedback.
Yeah, Julie, also on that review, it has a merge conflict, so there might need to be a rebase.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, next one is 732. And let me see if Gamza's on. I don't see Gamza on today, but she has given.
Yeah, she is PTO.
Okay, okay. So she had indicated last week that there was some ONOS work to be done. And so she did provide links to the related ONOS Garrett review and the task that was opened there. So I think last I checked, which was probably yesterday, it hadn't merged in yet, but we can track that here. So thank you to her in her absence here for providing those links. And then again, she had asked for folks to check the changes that she had and give feedback, just not to merge the work until the ONOS implementation side of this was done. So if you have not reviewed the work, please at least make sure that you have done so, and provide any comments in Garrett so she can follow up. Any other questions from the group on this item? Okay, let me go down to 11:19 and let me see. Keita-san, yes, I do see you on the bridge today. Any updates or comments on 11:29? Sorry, 11:19.
I'm now developing this topic. So after completing this topic, I will report this.
Okay, thank you. And then 11:29, I believe we did finally get this one merged. Is there anything remaining for this, or can this be moved to done?
No, that's it. That's all there was.
Let me move that over. So thank you for that. And thank you, Sean Ying, also for assisting with finding a path forward on that.
Yes, appreciate it.
Then moving on to 184. This one is being worked on by Lynn, and this is the ONU software upgrade based on OpenOpenAI framework.
Yeah. The first change, the first patch has been subcommitted for early review, and Chip gave some very good comment, and I'm going to change code, and we are doing the test with real OLT and ONU, this function after the simulation. So it takes some time.
Okay, thank you for that feedback. Also, I just noted here, I didn't see it before, we need to update the estimate for the story points for this so that the work's reflected better in the sprint totals. So if you could estimate how much work is needed for that one, that would be great.
Yeah.
Okay, questions before we move on?
Is it under 184? I think we talked about changing the reporter to someone else, right? Maybe put it Amit or Sean. Sean is no longer with the community, so.
Yeah, you could change that to me if you want. To Sean.
Let's see, here you are. Okay. Then let's move on to 11:55, and this one, Keita-san, I think you were working on this as well? For 11:54. Oops, may have lost.
Oh yes, sorry, I couldn't find the hit button. Yes, it works well.
Okay, let me add you onto that one right now. Okay, any questions for the group on this item or questions for Keita-san? All right, let's go down to 5:40. We've got about 9 minutes left here. I know there's been a fair bit of back and forth and discussion on Garrett on 5:40. Let me see. We've got Amit on and we've got David on. Do we think this will be resolved in Sprint 7, or what's our current
I just
outlook?
gave that one a +1 today.
Ah, okay, great, very good. Thank you. And then 11:68 is another one on BB-SIM.
Sorry, Julie, this is Amit.
Yeah.
Yes, so Jono is not there, so I don't know who's going to do a +2 to that.
Yeah, that's one. 5:40.
Okay.
We'll find some people.
Okay. So yeah, so I guess we'll work that in the background after the call. Thank you for bringing that up. We'll need to get that sorted out on a long-term basis. Okay, no. Okay, then 1168, I don't know if there's anything else we need to discuss on 1168 for BBSIM. I don't think so. All right, we'll go on to 1190. This one is in progress, being worked by Nick, and it looks like it's out for review in Garrett currently.
Yes.
Any comments or questions?
So I do have a comment. So I'm leaving AT&T at the end of the week. So I'd like all of this to be solved by then. So
one way or another.
I don't put the burden on my coworkers. So if you could, if you could review this one, that'd be appreciated.
Thanks.
This is the one where
it's the UF agent one.
Yeah,
especially for Ken, Richard.
Ken had some comments on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you changed it to the new way?
Yes.
Okay.
So for hopefully everyone heard that. So we want to make sure we get this item resolved so we can merge it in by the end of the sprint, which is the end of this week, as Nick will not be an available resource for us after that time. Okay, other questions or comments? Then 722, MIB resync task with technology profiles. And Chip, you're working this item. Any comment?
Yeah, I've just now really actually sort of started on it. I've had to upgrade us so we don't use XPON on our device adapters, and I actually got these VOLTHA Kubernetes pod set up thanks to Matt and Foundry folks. And so that definitely will switch over to the next iteration.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. I was guessing based on the number of story points, this would carry over into Sprint 8. All right, thanks. 1226, OpenOLT, remove reference old Broadcom adapter. That one is open for review. I think we went over that with the new issues earlier, and the same with 1227. Went over.
Yeah, those two have a merge conflict that I'm going to solve right after this.
Okay.
Then I will check with Shad to merge it.
Great, thank you. Okay, we do still have a number that are in the to-do column. So at this point, since the sprint is ending in just a few more days, I'm not sure how many of these will get resolved during this sprint. So was there a comment? Okay, not hearing anything. So if you're assigned to one of those, you know, if you could give an update on expectations, that would be appreciated. Any specific items the group would like to go over from the to-do column today? Okay, I am not hearing any. So we are almost out of time. We've got about 5 minutes left. So I think what I'll do is go back to the other screen. And that gives us a high-level update, at least on where we are for Sprint 7, expecting a number of items to carry over to Sprint 8. We've heard about a few of those today. And then we do have the agreement that we're adding related to the core work, an additional sprint. For the development work, we'll be updating the roadmap and the schedule accordingly, and that gives us some more time to work on the outstanding items as well. So I think that takes us pretty much to the content we needed to cover today. We've got just about 4 minutes left. Are there other topics that the group would like to discuss before we adjourn today, or items you'd like to flag for me to try and schedule a follow-up deep dive discussion?
There's a SIBO demo in about an hour.
Yeah, that's good to point out. There have been some announcements on the Exploder. So there is the SIBA demo today in about an hour. So that may be of interest to a large number of folks in this community. So I encourage people to attend as they are available. Thank you for pointing that out. Other comments or discussion from the group? Then I think I'll give you just a couple minutes back today for a change. And then
so Julie,
yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
I guess I
was
was
waiting for you. Yeah. I'm going to post the meeting stuff. Again, so like Nick announced, he's leaving the AT&T by the end of Thursday. I'm trying to work out something like maybe give him some candy or something like that so he can continue to work on some stuff. But I'm joke on the side, Nick, I appreciate your help and the Foundry. So I think we have the VOLTHA project as a whole have moved forward in big step because of the Foundry and individual in the Foundry's engagement. I do really would like to see more example like this kind of engagement will be happening within the VOLTHA community, and then potentially on the CEBA community also, and not potentially, also including CEBA community. So I appreciate everybody's hard work. Thanks, Nick, and everybody here has been helping the project to move along. So again, if you are attending the BBWF, let me know. So hopefully we can have a big gathering there. Anybody else has any comment? And I will say good luck to Nick, and I hope you do very well. I'm sure you're going to do very, very well. And then thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks everyone.
And just before let me send out that meeting in 1 hour. So just in case people don't subscribe for that, so it's on the chat. So CEBA demo.
Thank you.
And I believe the ONF is taking that to. I believe ONF is taking this one to the Amsterdam next week. So if you be around attending ONS Europe, then enjoy.
All right, thanks, Sean. And just a note, we do have that placeholder for Sprint 8. So the technical leads feel free to start populating Sprint 8 with stories for items that you're expecting kind of the sub-teams to tackle that. And then we can have that discussion either on Thursday or Tuesday, depending on where we end up with the schedule for Vol's 506 discussion. And with that, we are about out of time, so I'll go ahead and close the bridge. Thanks, everyone.